Hey there traders, thanks for joining me for this video. I just wanted to recap the week 7 trades for the StockBandit.com. It was a week where I took a number of trades both on the long side and the short side. I took a number of day trades and swing trades, and I just wanted to recap the results of those for you and just kind of give you a feel for the types of setups that I've been taking lately. Now, it was not a great week of trading. I'll just say that right up front. Whenever you're not making money, the next order of business is to minimize damage. And so that was kind of the name of the game last week. Found some success and also got stopped out of some trades as well. And that's just kind of part of it when you're playing in a market that's somewhat quiet but creeping its way higher. And that's really what we find ourselves in at this point. So let me walk you through the trades one by one. Last week on Monday, I wanted to get long this Delphi Automotive, DLPH. Stock had been rallying nicely, pulled back here, and I was looking to get long on a multi-day high. And I was right here, but it turned into a head fake. This thing had no follow-through. I stopped out for my 1% hit. The next one was this FTI, which had this real nice ascending triangle pattern, and I was really just looking to get long through a breakout of this upper trend line. So I went long on Monday at 55.10, and this thing really did not show any follow through whatsoever. That proved to be a head fake, whipped me out for a quick 1% loss. Again, keeping losses manageable and keeping them tight for these day trades in particular. Win Resorts, this thing I was looking for a break of support right here. This thing had been kind of establishing a couple of short-term lower highs here and had potential to break this support level. So I went short through the 111.75 level. And the low of the day was 110 on that particular day, so it made some decent progress. It closed at 110.56. So, you know, the intraday move really was not enough to book a profit. So just close this one out for a $1.19 gain at the end of the day. So again, a decent gain there, kind of helped eliminate a couple of those other stop outs. And another one that I took on Monday was this P10, which is a stock that's really been respecting this 18 area, and it's attempted to crack it a number of times. I've also attempted to take it short each time that it's gone through that 18 area, which is now a couple of times. But it tried to do so again on Monday, and it just couldn't make any progress at all. So as this thing actually undercut 1770, that's where I entered, but it was another head fake. This thing reversed back up and stopped me out for a quick 1% hit. On Tuesday, I went along this ROVI, which had this big unfilled gap from a couple of months back. And more recently, it had kind of stabilized, rallied, pulled back, rallied, and pulled back again. And so it looked like it had this appearance for a potential move higher. And so I got long right here on the trend line break, looking for some acceleration move. That was at 34.35, but it had no follow through whatsoever, and I got stopped out for a quick 1% loss. On Wednesday, I took this Teradyne. I wanted to get long through this descending trendline break at 17. So I had the right idea. Timing was just a little bit of an issue, and I just didn't get the momentum I was looking for. This thing stopped me out for a 1% loss right there as it cleared 17 and then turned back around and failed. Also on Wednesday, I took this ONXX, which had broken down on Tuesday out of this big symmetrical triangle pattern. And it turns out I should have just waited a couple days because this thing cracked pretty good on Friday on volume as well. But for Wednesday, I wanted to just take it through Tuesday's low. And if that level was broken, I just was looking for some acceleration move lower, and that didn't happen. I got short through the 40.10 level and saw no follow through. This thing reversed back up and stopped me out. So on to the next day, which was Thursday. And it was a good day. Thursday offered a few decent gains, and that was definitely enough to cover several of those smaller losses I had taken earlier in the week. So let me walk you through these. First was this FST, which is Forest Oil, and I was watching this multi-week downtrend line, which had really been dominating price. But as we see here, price had really stabilized here, and in fact had potential to turn higher if it crossed through this trend line, which it did on Thursday. I got along through 14.05 right here. This thing worked its way up to 14.50. Which was a 3.2% move. That was a nice little move that this thing offered. Also on Thursday, pardon me, I took this PXP, which offered an excellent swing trade here a few weeks ago through this symmetrical triangle breakout to the upside. And then it had rallied up. This thing did put in a little bit of rest here, and so I wanted to get long on the breakout, and that took place for PXP at 44.10. Just looking for a long entry for a new high here. This thing ran to $45, so that was just a decent 2% move there. Also, I took this NOV, which was the type of setup here I was looking for. Some acceleration move out of this really tight narrowing consolidation. So it broke out on Thursday, went long through the 84.10, and this thing only ran to 84.64, so it only ran, what is that, 54 cents? It then backed off a little bit into the close, so just a small gain there, but it was a winner. And also on Thursday, I took this Halliburton, which was starting to roll over here. We had this kind of rising wedge pattern, which ultimately was resolved to the downside, meaning if you were to just extend this uptrend line, eventually it got broken simply with price moving sideways, and that's just kind of something that tends to happen. But this thing was starting to roll over a little bit, and I really just wanted to kind of see some acceleration move lower if it could break Wednesday's low. Well, it did break Wednesday's lows. I got short through the 35 level, and I was looking for that acceleration move. It never happened. In fact, this thing just turned right back around and whipped me out for a quick 1% loss. Now, on Friday, I went along this C-Trip, which is a stock that had carved out some support down here several weeks back. It had lifted on volume. We see that right in here. And then it had pulled back and stabilized to create what looks to be a higher low. And this thing may still have potential to run much higher from these current levels. But I was really interested in just grabbing the initial pop through this descending white trend line. That was my trigger price there was at 25.10. I just wanted to get long through a multi-day high and a break of that trend line, looking for that acceleration higher. It never happened. This thing just made some minor progress and then reversed, so I ultimately stopped out of that one as well. Now, I did close out some swing trades last week. I closed out 3 of them. One of them was this AGP, which I went long on this descending channel breakout to the upside, which took place on Monday, right here on this particular bar. I got long through the 69.10 level and realized that earnings were approaching Friday morning in the pre-market. So what I did was just start inching up my risk on a night-by-night basis, and ultimately got a decent little pop here on Wednesday, which I alerted subscribers to, and obviously took a quick little profit there. Is not a big deal, just a 2% gain, but I just sensed an opportunity to ring the register on what was a fair gain given such little time to make its move ahead of major fundamental news, with that earnings report being Friday pre-market. I also closed out swing trades in Schlumberger, which is a stock I had entered a couple weeks ago on this big channel breakout here. That was through the 78 level. I got long right here actually at 78.31, and started to go and really just showed a lot of hesitation. This thing just really could never get free of this 78 area, and you can see that even on Friday it closed just beneath that level. So here's a stock that has potential to move much higher, but for now it's really dealing with this major 78 zone. And as it continued to move sideways and not free itself of this zone, what I did was just inch up my stop on a few different occasions. Ultimately got taken out on Thursday from this Schlumberger with a 2.1% loss. So just a minor loss, but again, when the trade never really materialized, the next best outcome was to take a very small loss. And then finally, close out a trade in this APOL, which was a real bullish pattern here that I had entered a couple of weeks ago on this upper trend line break. Went long through this 53.55 area right there. It started to go, and then it just really stalled out here. And you can see that volume really just sagged down here, and it ultimately just had no participation whatsoever. So it started to kind of drift, and I tightened my stop on this one as well. Ultimately closed out a very minor loss on Thursday right there, which was a 1.9% loss. So again, a very small loss, but for a failed trade, that's not bad at all. So I did enter. I did have one other position that I was already in, and then I entered 2 more on Friday, 2 more swings. So I'm in 3 swing positions right now. I'm of course going to cover those in another recap video whenever they are closed out. But for now, I'm discussing those with subscribers only, and I'll share those with you later. So I am looking forward to the New York Traders Expo this week. I'm going to be presenting Tuesday morning and I hope that you're in the Big Apple and you're going to be able to make it out to my session, as I will have some really good things to share for you. If not, be sure and go to the Traders Expo website. You can register for the webcast, and you can kind of attend virtually, and that'll sort of be the next best thing. So other than that, thanks for watching. I will have more for you soon, but until then, trade like a bandit.